After 18 days of slaughter and 40 million deaths, the kings of the world have no kingdom left to rule. They are walking directly into a lethal Himalayan blizzard, leaving the very empire they bled for behind in the mud. King Yudhishthira sits on the throne of Hastinapur, staring at the empty chairs where his cousins once sat. He wears the crown, but the weight of the millions of dead relatives he sacrificed to get it makes the gold feel heavy and useless. The finality of their era arrives when the golden city of Dwarka sinks beneath the waves. Lord Krishna, their divine guide and the center of their world, has departed, leaving a silence that no earthly power can fill. Realizing the age of men has ended, the 5 brothers and Queen Draupadi strip away their status. They place their jeweled armor, their fine silk robes, and the legendary bow Gandiva on a stone table, stepping out of the palace gates as commoners. They are beginning the Mahaprasthan, the great journey toward the peak of Mount Sumeru. It is a path into the heavens where the physical body is stripped away, and only the spirit is meant to arrive. The air thins and the oxygen vanishes as they climb. A single stray dog joins the line, trailing silently behind Yudhishthira, matching the king's pace step for step as the lush forests turn to frozen rock. This mountain demands a single, brutal focus. The travelers must move forward without pause. To stop or to look back at those who fall is to fail the journey entirely. Queen Draupadi is the first to go down. Though she was the heart of their family, she carried a hidden partiality, favoring Arjuna above her other 4 husbands. That single weight of bias anchors her to the snow, and she slips away into the white. The climb exposes every internal burden. Sahadeva, who took secret pride in being the most learned of men, falls next. He is followed by Nakula, whose focus on his own legendary beauty becomes a physical anchor. These silhouettes show how hidden traits act as weights, dragging the brothers down while the path continues upward. As the slope turns into a vertical wall, the ascent becomes a test of spiritual buoyancy. If a traveler carries any shred of ego, whether it's pride in one's mind or one's face, the mountain rejects them. Arjuna, the man who could hit a bird's eye in the dark, finds his legendary confidence failing him. He believed his own skill was the sole reason for his victory in the war, and that pride in his own hands causes them to finally lose their grip. Even Bhima, a man with the strength of 1,000 elephants, collapses. He spent his life celebrating his massive physical power and indulging in gluttony, and now that massive frame is a liability the mountain will not support. Yudhishthira hears his brothers gasping in the snow behind him, but he keeps his eyes fixed on the summit. A single tear freezes on his cheek, yet he refuses to turn around, adhering to the law of the journey even as his heart breaks. The very weapons, their massive muscles and brilliant minds that made these men legends on the battlefield, are the specific flaws that ensure they never reach the top. Earthly greatness is the very thing the mountain demands they leave behind. Only Yudhishthira remains. By refusing to look back, he proves that he has successfully detached himself from everything, his kingdom, his brothers, and his own grief, leaving only his commitment to Dharma. At the jagged summit of Mount Sumeru, the storm clouds part. Indra, the king of the gods, descends in a chariot of gold to welcome the only mortal who completed the climb. Indra offers Yudhishthira a seat in the chariot, an invitation to enter heaven in his physical body. There is one condition: the stray dog, being an animal, is forbidden from entering the gates of paradise. Yudhishthira steps back from the golden chariot. He chooses the freezing peak over paradise, stating that he cannot abandon a creature that showed him loyalty when all his brothers had fallen. The dog begins to glow, its form shifting into the divine figure of Dharma, the god of righteousness. The animal was the final test. Yudhishthira had to prove he would sacrifice his own salvation to do what was right. This moment reveals that true character is found when there is no reward for being good. Yudhishthira enters the gates not because he finished the climb, but because he was willing to fail the climb for the sake of a friend. Yudhishthira steps into the warmth of heaven, expecting to find his family waiting. Instead, he sees a sight that makes his blood turn cold. In this split vision of the afterlife, the villain Duryodhana sits comfortably on a throne in the light. Meanwhile, the screams of the Pandava brothers and Draupadi echo from the red shadows and iron chains of the depths below. Enraged by this perceived injustice, Yudhishthira turns his back on the light. He demands the gods take him to the darkness, choosing to suffer in hell with those he loves rather than enjoy a paradise filled with his enemies. As he makes the choice, the stone walls and the chains of hell shatter. The darkness was a final illusion, a simulation to ensure Yudhishthira had purged the last of his earthly anger and attachment before truly entering the divine realm. Every life carries a hidden Pandava flaw, a pride or a bias we refuse to acknowledge. The story of the mountain suggests that when our final audit comes, our destination depends on the integrity